everyone, and welcome back to another slightly delayed live stream. I apologize. The rain has thrown a spanner in quite a few of my plans and my schedules. But anyway, we're back after a week or so, and it's been an exciting week of football. Um, I'm joined currently by Akshay and for those of you who remember Vishnu from two
What's
episodes
up?
ago. Yeah, always good to have him back on the pod. He seems to be in good spirits as well, given how his team is performing. For those of you who don't know, Vishnu is a big fan of ours. He's a big Arsenal fan, and I mean, if I were him too, I'd be extremely happy with the way things are going. So I guess there's only one place to start. I feel like we've set up Arsenal, so I think it's right that we start off with Arsenal. Who
Your stat man is just
It's
going to
a
jump in
good,
here. and
good way to
say,
start with Arsenal.
Yeah. Always a
They've
good.
maintained. They're the only team in the top three leagues to maintain a 100% win record as of today.
Who, the Arsenal? Yeah,
Yeah.
as of 4 points. 12 points from 4 games. It can't get any better
That's
than that.
unique. Yeah, too good.
Even against
Yeah.
Fulham, and I mentioned this in the preview about how Fulham might be a team that causes Arsenal problems, and I think they did. I think Arsenal were good in the first half from what I saw, but then that Gabriel mistake lets Mitrovic in, and he scores, but Odegaard equalizes pretty quickly, and then Gabriel makes up for his error in the 84th or 85th minute. And sends the Arsenal fans into raptures. I don't know why I'm talking. Vishnu, take it away, dude.
Yeah, I mean, first time. I mean, I think everyone's come across that first time since 04-05 that we've won the first 4 games in the season. 04-05, I think we won the first 5 games of the season, so we got one more to go before we equal that record.
Yeah.
But I watched the game, and I think it was one of those days where, I mean, we created a host of chances, even though Zinchenko and Partey were missing, and I think we lost a bit of control in the midfield because of Partey not playing. And I think it was a last-minute change. So in that situation, I think Arsenal adapted really well. And I mean, Fulham were no slouches. They were coming to this unbeaten as well. They're drawn to Liverpool, got a few positive results, and I think Marco Silva has got them. Like they're playing some good stuff. Then I think they're best placed to stay up from the newly promoted sides, I think. But I think Arsenal, as usual, it's, as I said, one of those games where one mistake cost us. Mitrovic is on fire. He's already equaled, I think, as many goals that he scored in the last time Fulham won the league. So he's on fire, and that's a big positive for Fulham as well. But then I think Odegaard, I think, was clearly running the show. It was like, I don't want to take any previous former Arsenal players' names, but it felt like watching Fabregas from 7 or 8, and he's really bossing that midfield in that sense. Like tight spaces, even in the defensive areas, be it in the attacking half. I think he completely bossed the midfield. And even though it was a deflection, I mean, even Raheem Sterling's goal for Chelsea, the first one was a deflection, right? It's about, I think we should see the actions before the goal came, about how we created that from back to front. Just direct play. I think it was just 2-3 direct passes, Saka, Odegaard, and then boom. And you just had that feeling, right? Gabriel's going to come back.
It was a really good goal.
You just had that feeling.
Really enjoyed them. Really enjoying them playing right now.
Yeah,
I think Nketiah also. He didn't. I think at least I was surprised by the impact he had, because I think Arsenal almost doubled the amount of shots they had on goal after he came on in a matter of, I think, less than 8 to 10 minutes. And I think he created a lot of spaces and made Fulham think a bit. I think that was huge for Arsenal. Take out Tierney, bring in Nketiah, I think shifted the momentum a little bit. I think Fulham were really comfortable with what we were trying to do, till Nketiah came on.
What's happened to Zinchenko and Partey? Are they out long term?
No, Zinchenko and Partey both short term, so both precautionary. I think at least one of them should play against Villa, but I think the eye will be on United on the weekend. So I think you will see a couple of players rested for Villa, because I think Villa, poor Gerrard has not been doing torridly at the moment.
Yeah,
He's
Some
horrible,
people
won
asking
horrible.
for
only
his
one
head.
game. He's won only one out of the last 30 games that they've played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
So I think compared to FPL, I think if Arsenal do rest a couple of key players, I wouldn't mind it because you're playing at home as well, and
Mm-hmm.
nick a result against Villa, just keep the momentum going, right? It's all about just keep the momentum going, and let's see game by game. As Arteta said, right, stay humble and stay hungry. I think Arsenal
Yeah.
fans should listen to those two words a little more then.
Oh, I have heard somebody say, like, I opened up Twitter and someone was talking about repeating the Invincibles next year. So I don't think humility is currently the mood around Arsenal at this point.
No, I think I'm going by Arteta. Stay humble and stay hungry. We got to do a bit of both here now.
Yeah, but realistically, like I think once Europa kicks in is probably when Arsenal will hit the skids a little bit, and
Yeah.
mm,
But
but
see, that's what. If you look at the stat, 0405, we finished second that year to Chelsea, Mourinho's debut season. And my thinking is Arsenal got 69 points last season, and we have to get at least 11 or 12 points more this season to be comfortably in the top four. To be comfortable. But yeah, the
I don't
previous
think
question you
you're
asked.
But also last year they lost the first 4 games, and this year they've made up for those lost 11 points that they missed out last year. So that's already a bonus point for them to I think definitely finish
Yeah.
top 4.
But then, Abhin, you were talking about the Europa League. I was just looking at the fixture list, even though we got to take it game by game. So I was just looking at post United, right? And the Europa campaign kicks off right after the United game on the 8th. And we play FC Zurich. But what's interesting to note, I haven't looked at the other teams' fixture list yet in terms of the Europa, like Manchester United or even the Champions League. But if you look at post September 8th, Arsenal plays Zurich. Then you got Everton at home, PSV at home, Brentford, which is again in London. Then the North London Derby, which is at home again in London. Then we play Glint at home, and we play Liverpool at home. So we're essentially in London for almost a month till the 9th of October, and 4 games
that's
in
crazy.
Europe are almost done.
I don't think that's the
So-
travel is the issue. I think it's the recovery. It's that Thursday, Sunday, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's what you're playing.
Yeah, but I think
and-
that's where the man management and the personnel will who he picks and who he puts up on the lineup. I think that's where Arteta's he's going to be questioned on those. But I mean, travel wise, I don't, because I think Europa. Look at the teams that are playing. I think the traveling is what sucks it out of the team. So I'm at least happy to look at this and say, oh, we're not going anywhere, guys. We're in London for a month. Wrap up the Europa group fixture by the 4th game max, and then you're good to go. Then you play Leeds, City, and then you're more relaxed. Like you're not thinking about the Europa knockout stages and all that. So I think that's a big bonus in terms, at least for us, in terms of the fixture list. We got lucky, or
But do they
I don't
have the depth in the squad to pull through that whole hectic schedule of theirs? That's a question
think-
that we will
yeah, but I
find
think that's what last time we were talking about a signing or two. I mean, I think Arsenal have left it late in letting Pepe go. But I think if they can sneak Neto in, Jorge Mendes was doing something. There were some murmurs by Ornstein as well saying there might be a deal, but I think Wolves might price us out of it. So maybe I think Arsenal will look for it at a loan option. I think that's more realistic for Arsenal to get a loan in till whatever the year and then sign someone big in Jan, hold out till Jan.
Yeah.
I honestly think Pedro Neto on one wing and Martinelli on the other is a mouth-watering prospect for Arsenal. But I don't know if they'll be able to cough up what they're asking 50 million for him.
Yeah, I think it's been 35, 40 tops for Neto.
Yeah,
Given his
but that's not the
injury
market
record
we
as
live
well.
in, right? Yeah, funnily enough, that's not the market we live in, right? Which is, for me, like so bizarre when Anthony Gordon is being quoted at 60, 64 million, and Anthony, something about Anthony's. Anthony is being quoted at 85 million pounds. So it's a.
Has Anthony even
weird-
scored more than 10 goals a season?
He's got some seven goals and 8 assists. I believe this signing is purely happening because the manager wants him, and I think there's a relationship with the manager.
And he's fairly young. I
And-
think he's like 22, right?
Yeah, he's
22,
definitely a hot prospect. If you play Football Manager, like Anthony's rise to the top is quite insane. But it's like I'm still skeptical about that signing, and I think we'll get to United as and when we do. But as for the Europa thing, I think if Arteta just wraps up Jesus in cotton wool, and I'd say Odegaard even to that extent, and essentially just plays the kids and has them get through the group stages. Because I think Arsenal can breeze through the group stage with their B team, and then bring in Jesus and Martinelli and the big guns in.
Yeah, but I'm just looking
for
forward to
knockout.
smashing up Van Nistelrooy, to be honest. I just want
Or
Van
PSV.
Nistelrooy to be smashed to pieces. That's all I'm looking forward to, you know?
But that's like a come on. That's what since 17 years ago. Some wounds never heal.
I looked at the draw, I said PSV, let's go. You know, add an incentive. They're going to be paying for his blood.
I can imagine.
They're gonna be going
Ty on Arsenal fan TV going Rude Van the cheat. So
And imagine if the inevitable happens.
what, that PSV ends up beating Arsenal? You know, that's right.
Yeah.
For all you
Yeah,
listen-
they're the best side in the group apart. I mean, Arsenal and PSV.
Yeah, so you know how these narratives work, right? You just think it's like always you expect something to happen, then it does a full 180, and you're just like, damn, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying with Arsenal, we just got to get
PSV have
through.
won 3 out of 10.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we just got to get through, as I said, till the 7th of October, and then we have that little tricky where we play Liverpool and City fairly close to each other. Those are I feel those are going to be the real testers for Arsenal, and obviously the derby. But derby form goes out of the window, so I'm not taking that into account.
Into consideration.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The derby's what at the Emirates this year.
Yeah,
So it's the standard like thing where the season begins at the Emirates and the concluding derby is at White Hart Lane.
The new
It's
Tottenham.
picked by a random system.
yeah. It's all the TV
Always.
broadcasters deciding.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, Jesus not on the score sheet this week. One of the most owned FPL assets. So quickly, actually, you want to talk about FPL? We'll quickly give a little nod to it. I didn't have a great week, guys. I have 11 points sitting on my bench. I don't know what you're talking about.
But you had an overall of some 90 points. So
88 or something. 88 points. I have been below the average for the last. See, this is kind of. This is okay. I'm going to use FPL to segue into our next point because it makes sense. So, majority of the world, right, believes the Mo Salah, what do you call FPL? Exactly. We all did. And I was a part of this little Mo Salah church, mosque. I don't. But and then I think sometime over the last year, you keep looking at the way he plays, and purely based on the eye test, I've had a feeling that this man is not all there, or rather, he's purely down to poaching, and he's not been in form since the AFCON ended.
That is true.
It could have been something or the other, and I had him for the start of the season, but one quick look, and you realize everything is going through on the left-hand side through Luis Diaz. You're just like, oh, okay, maybe that's the better alternative because Salah is 30. He's not getting any younger. Maybe that's that's something we should be having a look at. So I think by the first game week I had him out of my team, and I had Luis Diaz as captain, which is why the haul is what it is at this point. But that's from an FPL perspective, and but Liverpool. Let's focus on Liverpool. Bournemouth visited Liverpool, and we all expected for them to be absolutely whacked. Instead, what we ended up getting was a phenomenon that has occurred only 4 times in the Premier League, where a team has lost 9-0. Now, do you know the other 3 times it's happened?
Southampton have been involved twice.
Southampton have been involved twice.
Southampton, Leicester.
And United in the 90s, I think. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I think against Ipswich is when they scored 9.
Yeah.
But didn't Spurs also score 9 against a Wigan team, if I'm not mistaken.
But I think they
Sometime
scored. I think Wigan
Did
must
they?
have scored because
Yeah.
yeah,
it wasn't a 9-0.
yeah, it wasn't. I don't think because I remember the Wigan scoreline and just being like, okay, something is definitely um, on here.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so that for them to have like kickstarted the scoring, what 3 minutes into the half was kind of hilarious, and then it just started piling on. I've never looked at a team and thought, oh my god, you guys are about like I've never like seen a team in recent memory that has reminded me of Derby County in 07-08, where you know they're just destined for relegation. You don't know where their points are coming from. Funnily enough, Bournemouth have points on the board thanks to Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa, another team that everyone is
First
beating.
day of the season. Yeah.
It's first day of
Yeah.
the season. Two set pieces, completely undate his team. So it's just it's a bit of a chaotic situation at Bournemouth, and I think they haven't bought well. Scott Parker again looks out of his depth, so a decision has to be made at some point because Liverpool
Hmm.
have been poor for the most part of this season, and for them to just rock up to Anfield on a Saturday and blitz nine past them without Salah getting involved in even a single one of them.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
very strange. That was very,
and so
very
we both had
strange.
Salah captainers.
Yeah. And I changed him a minute before the deadline from Kane. And I was like, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
But
Anyways.
Kane missed a pen, so you
But he still
like
got
at
more
least
points.
Yeah.
He
And
still
he
got
got a
more
yellow
points.
for that celebration.
yeah.
Yeah, but he still had more points than Salah. So it would have helped in some
Yeah,
way or the other.
he still got a brace. So
Yeah.
Spurs are shithousing their way into the league at this point. But in terms of Liverpool, I think what Nunes is back after this game. He missed.
I
He
think he's
missed two
back
games already.
this midweek.
Oh, he's back against Newcastle, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Two game ban, right?
Mm,
3 game, right? So
Three, I
straight
think.
red.
Yeah,
He got
he
his
got a
yeah.
straight red.
And
Yeah,
he's
so
not back.
yeah,
He's not
Yeah, I
back.
think he's back on the weekend is what I
Yeah.
think is going to happen. But I mean, there's not much to say about Liverpool until they sign a new midfielder. I think they're in the market for a new midfielder. And given that the transfer window is like teams are playing on the day the transfer window shuts, and that's very rarely happened because of this weird congested season we find ourselves in. So I
Yeah.
but I
expect a
think with
lot more.
Liverpool, like it's fair. I think it's fair par for the course that they're struggling because I think again Klopp is in a rebuilding process. Like he's in that middle ground where he's got some established players, but he needs to make a few more signings to really get the core back. Then the core
Mm.
itself is aging with like Henderson, Milner, and Van Dijk has made a few mistakes, uncharacteristic of him, but he's still making mistakes. Trent has come under huge criticism for his mistakes from
But
the
he
beginning of the season.
back last week.
So I think a couple of players, like established players, are making mistakes, and the
Yeah.
injuries have mounted for Liverpool that have, in like the, uh, I mean, Klopp's come under even more criticism for that. But I think once Jota comes back, few players come back from injury, I think they should be fine. But I don't think Liverpool, they might be in trouble here. I really do think it might be an up and down season for them.
It might be. I
Seriously,
don't.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
guaranteed top four for them.
Oof. I wouldn't go so far as to say that because you never know with this team, right? This team has this insane knack of just like clicking into gear and then going on a run. They do have a massive load of injuries. I think they do need to strengthen in midfield because they're an aging squad, right? Most of their team is on the wrong side of 30 or like at least like early to like mid 30s.
Mm.
So you sense that there needs to be a refresher that comes through. Also, Klopp kind of needs to figure out a system that is not so reliant on his fullbacks, or rather, can be reliant on his fullbacks, but they need more protection than what they're currently getting. There's no other Van Dijk in the market right now. I don't think you're going to find a like for like replacement, but also at the same time, it's you need to have um, cover for your fullbacks who are also, I think Robertson is what, 27, 28 this year, or somewhere close to his 30s. Trent is only going from strength to strength, but defensively, if Anthony Elanga is doing things to you on a football pitch, I think it's time you really buckle down on the defensive aspect of your game. So I don't see them having a topsy-turvy season. I think they'll be good enough to finish in the top four, purely because the other contenders for the top four are in worse situations compared to Liverpool. So I have full faith in them making the top four. Might be by the skin of their teeth. I finally had them winning the league at the start of the season, and but at the same time, I kept negating that point, saying there's no Mane, so they're going to suffer for it. So I clearly can't make up my mind.
I think they'll accept that mistake by Jan. I think that was a huge, blow to Liverpool.
Huge error. I guess you want to keep Salah, who is the talisman, who's got the goals, but the grunt work and the dirty work is happening on the left-hand side. And the number of times that man has pulled that team out of the mire when it comes to the big games is like, I'm not a Liverpool fan, so for those of you who are Liverpool fans, let us know. It's testament to the kind of player he is, right? And for them to have lost him and to not quite replaced him, I think Luis Diaz is a close enough replacement, a few years from being the finished article. It's only about 24, 25 right now. So it'll be interesting to see how Liverpool progress this season. But speaking of somebody else who's had no trouble fitting in, you have Erling Haaland at Man City. Now, this was pure chaos because I think I wasn't able to catch this game, but I heard through various groups that City were 2-0 down from 2 set pieces. And usually
great game,
usually Palace give them a lot of trouble, and I thought Palace would help see them, would kind of see the game out. And then in comes Bernardo Silva leading the fight back once more. And then the Haaland show begins. I read an athletic article today talking about how managers have been reaching out to each other to try and discuss how to contain the guy. Because they don't know if they should stick with him, if they should let him go. How does one contend with Erling Haaland? The man has taken to the Prem like a fish has fish to water. It's just, I mean, I've never looked at a City team that, first of all, has passed every team to death for about 3 years at this point. And then you add this stone cold killer up front who just destroys defenders and opposition fullbacks. What do you do? Who is the contender? Who's the closest contender to City this year? Or have we already given up the league?
I think this year could be a real surprise.
You're not saying it as an Arsenal fan, are you?
No, I'm not. Because if you look at City, they had a very slow start to the season, especially defensively. They have had slow starts to games, in fact. You look at the Newcastle game, you look at the Palace game as well. Even though the first goal was an own goal by Stones, and then, Palace they were solid first half. I think Palace deserved that 2-0 lead, the football they played. But then City just have that quality up front with Haaland, right? He's the X factor. I mean, Nunez hasn't shown us that because he's probably not got enough opportunities because of his daft action, because of which he got sent off. But I think City defensively have not looked good. And if before the transfer window Bernardo leaves, that could be a huge loss because you know what he's done for City.
Of course,
he's one of the most underappreciated players at City. Completely underappreciated.
I think Pep has put an end to any of the Bernardo transfer saga talks. Yeah. He said he's not going anywhere. He can play 4 to 5 positions. I want him in my team. Barca left too late.
I don't know. When I saw the game, his body language still didn't look like. I mean, he wanted to get a positive result for City, but for some reason, his body language wasn't looking the same for some reason.
Like maybe he wants to leave
too much into it, but
I definitely saw it too, but I don't think City will let him leave. I think when the one thing I admire about City is they don't get sucked into transfer sagas. Even with the Cucurella thing, the moment Brighton started quoting 60 million, they said, "You know what? You're good." They went and picked up a 21-year-old left back from La Liga. They had Julian Alvarez, they had Haaland wrapped up and ready to go before the season even began. So just you know, such an efficiently run team.
Yeah, but historically, you see, Pep has had fallouts with players with a little bit of personalities, Lata and Aguero in the recent past. People who stand up for themselves. He's had issues with personalities. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't think it's out of the realm to think Bernardo could force a move
I
because
initially
he'll
thought
be
that would have
underappreciated.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
I initially thought that would have happened with Haaland, given how Haaland's thing is that he's a stallion and he likes to he's you don't
Yeah.
I mean you don't chain up a stallion, like you let it run free.
But I
And
feel
Pep's
it's a bit
system is
too.
so particular about where each player goes, what they do, what the action is. There was an interview last week where he talks about how he hates players who perform skills, and that's
yeah.
just not
Mm.
something. And if you go back and look at his career, the first thing he did at Barcelona was get rid of Ronaldinho, who is one of the most skillful players to ever play the game.
Charleston
So
should take some tips on that. No?
you can't kick the Brazilian flair out of the Brazilian game. Like it has made them who they are.
He's not
Uh,
playing in Brazil. He's playing in Brian Class' backyard.
Yeah.
Joga bonito, my friend. uh,
But speaking of the Haaland saga, I think it's a bit too early to talk about the relationship between manager and player. Just few, not even like a month in. We'll have to
yeah,
give it some more time
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't know how when City hit a bump, what that bump is going to look like. So you never know how seasons play out. But right now they
Mm.
look almost unbeatable. I think the only team that is capable of stopping them to an extent were Liverpool, for that matter. I think the way Arsenal are playing and the way how quickly Arsenal move forward, and if you look at that first half, everyone, I know it's like a joke at this point, but that first half against City last season at the Emirates, where they played them off the park, and they're a better team now to like take the game to them over two halves. So it'll be interesting
Mm.
to see how Arsenal combat the City threat. But more than anything else, I see Conte giving them a real headache, at least up till February, because even Spurs haven't clicked, but they're just like um, churning out points. They you can tell
That's
like
what
that.
Kulusevski said. I don't know if you saw the
Yeah,
Kulusevski interview. He said he doesn't care about, enjoying stuff, enjoying
yeah,
training, enjoying
Yeah.
how you're
mm,
playing. He just wants to win, right?
yeah.
But then everyone keeps saying that's why he doesn't last too long because he's so intense. The intensity just drives them crazy. You can't go at 120 for 3, 4, 5 years, right?
I feel yeah, if Spurs have a chance of a trophy this year, this is the season. I mean, like any time if they've ever had like a shot at a trophy, this is probably the year, right? Because I think by next year it's going to be a real problem um for the Spurs players and with Conte's tactics.
Yeah.
Because I think by then it's going to start to wear them down. And it's for no fault
But
of their own. They're only human. There's only so much you can take before just pushing back, right?
And
And you
also, if
look
you
at
look at
wherever.
like
but I think
Son as well, yeah.
The
Sorry,
Champions
go
League
ahead.
fixtures for them is going to be tricky as well. I don't think they have the depth in their squad to pull them
I think
through
Spurs have depth, a lot
game
of depth
after
in
game
this.
after game.
I think you see
I think they've got
Richarlison.
the easiest draw in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
No, but
They have.
given that Conte is so, like pushing his players to do the complete more than their 100%, like 200%, the intensity is going to eventually wear them down.
I
Yeah, but I
think
think if you look
they.
at Conte's European record, actually, if you just go look it up, he's done very
Hmm.
poorly all across the board in Europe. Be it with Juventus, be it with Inter Milan. You remember how he lost that final, I think, to Sevilla with Lukaku botching it
Yeah,
up in the end,
Mm.
and they were
yeah, yeah.
heavy favorites going in that. They should have comfortably won that game. And even with Juventus, I think 1 year they got relegated by Galatasaray with Drogba and Schneider with a combined age of like 60. They
Hmm.
lost away from home when they were leading and completely screwed up. So I
Yeah.
think his European record is in the question. But in
Hmm.
support of Spurs here, last 17 games they won 12, drawn 3, lost 2. I think they've
Hmm.
amassed the most number of points since March. So I think Arsenal should not even be in the contention for the title. I mean, still not in the conversation, but Spurs. I think people should definitely start putting more pressure on Spurs because I think no one's putting pressure on Spurs.
Yeah,
Like
that's the thing, right? They're flying
the
under the
surround
radar.
sound is not on them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been thinking of this. I've been saying this for a while. I've been saying for Dark Horse, given the business, given the players that they have and the caliber of players that they have, they should be one of the contenders for the title. And you look at Son. Son is not the player he was when he finished the season last season. So
Yeah.
he hasn't clicked either. It's just Kane who's just getting them through games. There's a team that's figuring out what kind of beast it really is. I think they're going after Dan James now, mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Just earlier today.
yeah,
Yeah.
to supplement their pressing unit. So this is like an all. I think what's happened is Daniel Levy's looked at Conte and thought, I'm never going to get an opportunity to hire a better manager at this point. Like he's done the Jose Mourinho run, it hasn't worked out. He's completely submitted to Conte's whim. I think having Paratici there has obviously helped. Let's talk about Spurs and Forest, right? Because I think Forest will give them a real game,
They
and
really
Spurs,
did. Yeah.
That was a
yeah.
really good game. They played some really good football,
But
but
Spurs have
came
this
up.
like, yeah, in a knack of just uh, grinding through those periods of the game and then ultimately finishing it off. I thought by the start of the second half, when they concede that penalty, it was over. That was going to be the end for
Mm. Forest.
Forest. But Dean
Yeah.
Henderson, penalty free kicks, penalty
What a
kick
save.
specialist.
First time in four
Yeah. Great.
years, Kane's been
Yeah,
denied.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it
In the
wasn't. I
Premier
would
League.
in the Premier League, right? I think
Yeah.
even what
Yeah.
In the Premier League.
the Euros he missed against Schmeichel saved,
In
but
the
then
Prem,
Kane
yeah.
taps in the rebound. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's when you think, oh, you know what, there might be something here for Forest. And fast forward a couple of minutes later, about 20 odd minutes later, and Kane is unopposed at the back post. Bizarre goal to consider. I was just like looking at that goal and just staring at the defenders, going, "What is that?
Yeah.
Who is the biggest threat in the box? Like, who's the one
But the
scoring
assist was
goals?"
No,
the assist
but to
was
be
really
fair,
good.
Richarlison like worked his socks off for that goal. Like he ran back to
Yeah.
the touchline, just
Hmm.
harried the defender or the midfielder who had the ball, got it back outside of the foot unmarked. Like
Yeah.
I think
That
it
was
was
great.
all Richarlison on that. Yeah,
It was Richarlison. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
It was
When do you
great ball
see
in.
Richarlison replacing Son in the starting 11? Because I think it's coming.
It should come. I think if Conte wants to show who's boss and really lay down a marker for a starter, I think he should do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because we're 4 game weeks in, and Son looks like a shadow of himself. Um,
Yeah. He's not
makes
informed
making
this
really
season.
stupid. It's like when a player is not informed, they make those really stupid decisions and try to force the issue. That's
Yeah.
clearly what Son's doing, and it's not working. I think either this game week 5 or game week 6, by at least by the weekend, if he doesn't score or doesn't pick up his form, you're going to see Richarlison in the starting lineup.
Yeah,
Conte
he
takes
might
no
get
prisoners.
frustrated. Son might get frustrated and equal Xhaka's 4 red cards for Arsenal because he already got 3. That wouldn't be a bad stat, no?
Yeah, I mean, it would just be so son of him to find his form just before the derby, and then like present that headache. Uh,
Guys always score in the derby,
But
man.
speaking
yeah.
speaking of Son, did you hear what Conte had to say about him?
What did he say?
That
What did Conte say about him?
that if there was a guy who had to marry my daughter, it would be him because he's a gem of a person. But uh,
You know,
And
I mean,
Son is the
Dele
most
Alli's off
popular.
now, so
You know, Son is the most popular man in South Korea, right? He's like
yeah,
he's bigger than BTS. He's bigger than any of the other South Korean sensations. Literal Prince of Korea is what they call him, and
yeah,
he's still so. And the whole thing is like his whole charm is that he's humble and you know um, he's got that sense of like he's kind of approachable. He's an absolute ass on the football pitch. Okay, like I'm going to be extremely straightforward about it. He's always falling down, crying, and
that's why I said he's got
and,
3 red cards for Spurs in less than half the time
yeah,
Xhaka's
he
played. The whole marketing gimmick is not going to work with people who
it's not
follow
going to
this guy.
work.
It's a
Yeah, I
real,
think Rob Holding
it's a
has an
real,
axe to grind.
yeah.
If this, I don't think he's starting the derby. I think what is Ben White still going to be a right back at that point? Is Tomiyasu any close to a return?
I mean, we'll see when it comes around. I'm actually trying to get the tickets because I'm going to be there, but I don't know.
Oh, nice.
If I get, I might go,
fun.
but I haven't had any luck yet.
Oh, Twitter is your friend, my friend. Like the last time I got tickets,
Uh,
funnily enough, for the Spurs game, you need to like sit and find people on Twitter. And I'm saying this to
yeah,
anybody who is going to go watch a game at some point. Make sure, like, if to not get scammed, register if they ask you to register on the website and provide, I think, a CRM code. It's only then are they actually legit because most of like
oh,
especially they do it with Spurs, like you can't transfer tickets to people who aren't members,
no, I'm a member,
because
so
yeah, so I think you should be good, right? Like you
yeah,
just to let them
should
know if
be.
you have let them know your CRM code, and they'll just transfer it out
Let's see
accordingly.
anyway. Back to Spurs, back
Yeah,
to Spurs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
back to Spurs. So um, yeah, I think Spurs definitely the closest contenders that Guardiola will have to keep an eye on for the title. Will they win it? Probably not. Will they cause somewhat of a headache? Oh, for sure. Speaking of headache-causing teams, let's move on to the 12 p.m. kickoff of the weekend, where Man United took on Southampton. The rejuvenated Man United took on
The marquee game of
the
the weekend. I was looking
marquee
forward to
game.
it the most.
I expected like if you've seen the preview, I had said, "Oh, a 2-2 draw is what I expect from this game," and it almost
yeah,
nearly
no,
delivered a draw.
yeah, 2-2.
I picked a 2-2 draw, right?
Well,
So
Yeah,
1-0, right? Bruno
yeah,
finished it off.
there's a one
it was
nil.
a
Yeah,
one yeah a 1-0, a great fluid attacking move that ultimately saw
it was a great game
United
too, for sure.
United uh, go ahead with Bruno scoring, and then began the second half of pure chaos where United just couldn't control the ball. And I am so sick of a team that just can't hold on to the ball. It's like they have 5 passes in them before they ultimately give it away. Purely, but coming from a biased perspective, I'm just happy they came out of there with a win because that
Yeah,
snaps a 7 game losing streak away from home. Oof, makes for brutal viewing.
But
If
I think
you're
it
a
was one of
United
those
fan.
cases where United were like, bit handbrake on because of the because of that away record and because of,
Yeah,
yeah,
the start to the season, I guess. So, I mean, I don't think they wanted to go for it, even though they were trying to go for it because they caught in between, I guess,
yeah,
how much risk they
it's
should take. And I think that ended up in a stalemate of sorts. And it worked out, I guess, because
yeah,
the
kind of. I
opposition
think
didn't have
I
much
mean
quality.
Southampton have kind of had a good start to the season. Yes, they did end up rolling over and for Spurs on the opening day. But then, if you look at
Which
the
they
games,
always
they've
do.
somehow no fun. They beat them last year on the ground. Last year, I think
Did they?
yeah, they beat them last year at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, but Spurs
Um,
always seem to beat them. It's like their team.
yeah, especially away from home. There was a season where I think it was under Mourinho, where Spurs they scored 4 past them in the first half or something along those lines, because Southampton were playing this suicidal high line that Son and Kane were just exploiting um, for fun, right? So,
yeah,
but coming back to the United game, it's just you look at that team, you look at Casemiro and you look at Eriksen, Bruno, and they still need another midfielder after all this money spent. That's the really irritating part about supporting this users club, is that they spend exorbitant amounts of money, and once the spending is done, there are still massive holes in the squad that need to be filled. Now, I
Just like the
feel,
roof at Old Trafford.
oh yeah, the stadium is just falling
That's
apart.
right.
It's just the stadium has not been
They need to.
upgraded since 2005, and that time it was considered state of the art, right? Now other stadiums have all caught up, and this just looks like they call it old toilet, and because it's a stadium that's decrepit, that's falling apart, and has had no no renovations that of
Yeah,
note.
they need to get their acts together.
But I think what United have
quickly.
already spent 200 million, right, in the transfer window. I think
Oh,
we're
yeah,
close to
I think,
spending
yeah.
200 million.
So they've spent
220 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
160 on Casemiro. No, sorry, 84
70,
100.
60 or 70 on Casemiro.
Yeah, 60 on what's his name?
Martinez.
Martinez.
Hmm.
And now 100
And
on
now on
80 or 100.
Anthony.
80,
Yeah, 80 or
yeah.
100 on Anthony. What's really irritating is the it's like what I mentioned, right? It's the lack of a cohesive team. I think McTominay will continue to start till Casemiro finally integrates himself into the squad. And as long as that happens, you are not going to have a team in the middle of the park that's settled. Yes, Fred and Casemiro play together for Brazil. I wonder what that's going to look like in the in club football, and how coherent they're going to look together on the pitch. In terms of the fullbacks, Varane is basically glass ankles. He's one injury away from us seeing Maguire or
Yeah,
Lindelof
basically.
back in the squad.
But
Same goes
why
for.
both of them?
I assume it will probably be Lindelof more than Maguire at
Yeah.
this point, because I feel Ten Hag has kind of lost faith in him to a large extent, because he's
But
not
Phil
doesn't
Jones also
communicate.
available, I think, no?
Phil Jones can actually play in midfield.
But he's still there.
Phil Jones, yeah, he's still there. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening with Phil Jones and why they're just not letting him go. There was
God, they should just let him go.
Phil Jones was the
Blame.
center defensive. Yeah, the center defensive midfield. I didn't know that we all needed, because I've seen him play center defensive midfield twice. The first time he bossed Ronaldo around at the Bernabeu, and the second time I think he did it to Arsenal under the Moyes era. Yeah, so that's the only time I've seen Phil Jones play in midfield and do it well. He
plays well,
one of
yeah.
those, but
Yeah,
again,
he had those 2 crazy seasons at Blackburn where United made him. After that, he signed for United, but he was like top class at the day, till his injuries and stuff, of course.
I think Mourinho also made him his starting centre back when he first came into the club. He really liked him, and then he got injured, and then once Phil Jones gets injured, he's never the same. Like, he always
Yeah, it's never the same.
ends up messing up in some way or the other. But United come through that game with a 1-0. They go to Leicester this week.
This week, yeah.
That's a good fixture for United to keep the momentum.
I think they're going to lose to Leicester, given how this team is. You can never trust this team. I think until they go on a 5-game winning streak, or a
Not
5-game.
even a 5-game.
3. I think 3 would be great at this point. We're on a 2-game
Yeah.
streak, which means the Leicester game is going to be the proverbial banana skin that.
Who started
ultimately
United's midfield this week? Fred didn't start.
No, it was
McTominay
McTominay
and
and Eriksen, the team that started against
Eriksen.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I think I don't know why you're being so like negative. I think there were like a couple of positives from the game as well, right? I mean, Eriksen played well. I think Lisandro Martinez, he's doing pretty well after
Martinez
his
is
first 2 games.
killing it.
I don't think he's lost a duel. The stat I saw, he's not lost a duel in the couple of games he's played after that. And I think his partnership with Varane is quite like complementary, because Varane brings that experience and that physicality, and then Martinez can win. Whatever duels I saw him winning in the game, whatever I watched, was those outside the box, preventing those second balls from becoming
Yeah.
loose balls and continuing the attack. At least I thought Martinez did really well in preventing
I,
those kind of attacks.
I think with my problem with United is that they don't control games. They're reactive as opposed to being proactive.
But
So
that's
which is
expected, I think, with a new manager. I think that should be expected for a while.
yeah. I think until Ten Hag gets his
It's more.
philosophy in and
Yeah.
gets his players in, um, that's the case. But because for years, even under Oli, where United were a little more cohesive than I'd say they've been over the last 2 years, right? Um, they never really controlled games. Like it wasn't like a City Liverpool situation where you never like you'd feel safe knowing even when the opposition team has the ball, you know that at the end of the day
Mm.
they're not getting a sniff near goal. With United, it would invariably come down to huge bouts of luck or
Yeah.
individual performances um, from the midfield, where a team would be on the rise and then United would go down the other end and score a goal and quick kill the game. There's never like they're not dominant in possession, which is my big pet peeve with that team. And until
All,
you address that problem, like you look at Arsenal right now, right? You have that metronome midfielder in Odegaard, and he's amply backed by the likes of Thomas Partey. Zinchenko can do a job there. You've got Shaka, who's now playing like an advance. He's playing as a center attacking midfielder. Great FPL asset
Mhm.
for those of you not considering, for those of you who are thinking twice about it. Um, so like there's that midfield core where the ball circulates, and you have a team, you have the destroyer, you have the deep line playmaker, you have the advanced playmaker. One of them is also a box to box. So it's just that does not happen at United. Christian Eriksen, as much as he's great and I love him, he's playing with a pacemaker, and we really should not be playing him as much as we're playing him. Uh,
Yeah. That's
as for Bruno's entire ethos is based on trying risky shit and losing the ball 150 times. This is the kind of player he is. So
that's
he is
something
not.
new from you. That's something new
Yeah,
from
but
you.
you see, I mean, I think United in terms of like your little comparison to Unai Emery, right? When he came in, he also I think went through a similar phase where he was like trying to build his side, and there was no cohesion, and they were like similar patterns of play. You're not in control of the game, but you're somehow like sneaking in results here and there, and that at the end of the day, that's what gets momentum. So I think for some time at least, United just get the results somehow, and that will automatically come because the results will. I mean, if the results come, that will automatically follow because it'll be a
Yeah.
result of
Yeah.
getting the 3 points and building confidence slowly and steadily. It's not going to happen like in 1 2 months, I think. But I think one of the positives or negatives you can look at it both ways is even Van Gaal got a bunch of Dutch players in from wherever.
Hmm.
He got Depay,
Mhm.
all these guys to come in and
Who might
play.
be coming back.
And yeah, who might be coming back, but then Ten Hag's done the
Never
same
know.
thing. But I don't know how much of an impact those Dutch players are going to have. One thing positive I can say is they're going to bring the Ajax way. I mean, they in the sense that they
Mhm.
know what to expect from Ten Hag and the style of play and what
Mhm.
standards he expects, which can then be which the other United players can see and say, okay, this is what he really wants and these are the standards.
Yeah.
But the players he's bringing in aren't really like winners at the top level. So I don't know if the players with the big egos and with the politics going on at United with the likes of Maguire, Bruno, and the camps and stuff, is it going to work? It can work both ways, I guess. I'm looking at
Yeah,
both
Could
I
sides
think
yeah,
of the
could
Bruno
coin.
go
is.
either way.
I think Bruno is going to be uh, his talisman, because if you've seen Bruno over the last two games, that man has worked his socks off.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of this, one thing you can't fault Bruno for this season, at least he likes to throw his arms up in the air and moan and be an absolute shithouse. And I think barring Richarlison, he's the most disliked player in the league. Um, I remember, like, there's a whole thread of Liverpool fans yelling at him when Salah scored the goal on Monday night. So, like, there's you never you can never fault him for his output, and I don't think Bruno will let his ego come in the way. The one person that has an ego issue is the Ronaldo problem that we are all looking at. If you look at the game, there are two times where Rashford is through on goal, uh, just upon the halfway line, and Ronaldo tries to force him to go wide so he can set Rashford up for a cutback to him.
Yeah.
And I think he also does that with I forget who it was. He does it twice in the game. Now, I love Cristiano Ronaldo, one of my childhood heroes as a footballer.
Yeah.
Not the greatest person, and that's well documented. But I feel at 37, 38, you need to really reassess where you are in your career.
Hmm.
And as for your agent who has been pimping you out to every club in Europe that even has sniffed the Champions League, um, and they're all saying no, maybe it's a hint as to where your career is going. Like right now, the only alternative to him is Sporting Lisbon, and that probably might still happen. And I feel if he goes, United replace him with somebody who's in that
You're
25
talking
to
about
30.
Napoli also as well, right? Aren't Napoli
And
also
Napoli also wanted him.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Napoli that are asking for 100 million plus Ronaldo for Victor Osimhen. United aren't going to
Yeah, it's a
spend that
good
money.
deal for United.
They're not going to spend 100 million. They don't have that money. They've given the manager his marquee signings for him, but I still maintain that the Anthony money could have been used to fill up 3 4 positions. Could have been used. Right now I believe there's a conversation for a swap deal happening, which will include Sergino Dest as well. They're looking at Dest because Dest is surplus requirements at Barcelona, so
Interesting.
we could expect to see at least 2 incomings. I really hope, for the sake of this stupid club, that it's a midfielder and it's a right back or a full back. Because Wan-Bissaka, in all likelihood, is going back to Palace on loan, um, which
I'm
is
happy
good.
for
Which
That's
Palace.
is
good. But
yeah.
Dalot is doing quite well so far.
Dallo is doing well, but Dallo also has the occasional brain fart in him, which I think
Which
for
United player doesn't have that occasional brain fart in them?
all of them at this point. But I
Exactly.
really hope
Exactly.
that um, we at least fill the fullback area and the midfield area. I think with the
Hmm.
strikers option, we're going to have a fluid front three of Anthony's. I'm all for that. And three knees is what
And
we're going
three
to call
knees,
them.
yeah.
Which
So
Anthony though? Martial or the new guy?
no,
All
we
three,
have
no?
Anthony Elanga, we have Anthony Martial, and we have Anthony.
Anthony.
You're doing a Gabriel at Arsenal, no? Gabriel
Yeah, pretty much.
Martinelli,
Basically,
Gabriel
yeah.
Magalhaes, and
Basically.
Gabriel Jesus.
more,
That's going to be a thing in a
more.
few weeks,
Yeah, of course, for sure.
especially when
But
United play. We play them next week.
yeah. So
But
we'll
nobody
a
talks
quick
about three Harrys in a team.
who has three Harrys? I think what Wings had. There was Wings and there was
Kane at one
Kane.
point. But I don't know if there
Yeah,
was a third by any chance.
I'm not quite
It's
sure if
lying
there ever was
somewhere
a.
No,
in
no,
the
no.
in the squad. Yeah.
Hmm. But okay, let's quickly talk about Chelsea before moving on to the preview for the next week. Chelsea hosted Leicester and then had Conor Gallagher sent off for a brain fart of a decision, and but still managed to come back out of that game with 3 points, 2 goals scored. Leicester are very very much in trouble.
One signing so
But
far?
One
Just
signing,
one, I
right?
think.
Who
Yeah,
have they got? They got in.
I've heard is not significant. Otherwise, everyone would have taken note
Yeah,
of it.
everyone
But
will
I know they
remember who
just
he
yeah,
made
is.
one
nobody
signing.
knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
But
still surprised Yuri Tillemans is in that club and no big team has gone for him.
Because I think he's 1 year left on his contract. Everyone wants to go in Jan or the summer and get him for free. Get a pre-contract in Jan, otherwise get him in the summer
Then,
for free and
hmm.
yeah.
get him on the cheap.
But I mean, if I was a United player, if I were the United scouts, I'd bite their hand off for 25 million. Like you morons have spunked 50, 55 million on players. There's a bargain sitting there and waiting at 25 million. You really, really should consider it. You've chased Frankie De Jong for 4 weeks. For what am I saying? For
For
14
weeks.
weeks, and who very
And he's
much
staying
looks
put,
like
I think.
he's
Yeah.
staying put. He's not going anywhere. He traveled to London today, I think, for Donny Van de Beek's wedding, and for about an hour, Twitter went completely nuts because there was a flight scheduled for London. But then that was very
Crazy.
quickly put to bed, saying that he's not going anywhere. He's sitting down, taking a wage cut, and not getting his wages paid. Uh, Laporta, did you see pictures from Laporta at the Barcelona game? He's sporting a black eye. So there's
Oh,
No, I
someone clearly
understand.
isn't happy. So there might be a story developing there as well. But Chelsea look again out of sorts, which kind of it depends on who gets their act together quickly, either Chelsea or Liverpool, which kind of intensifies that race for the final two top four spots. I think Spurs definitely are getting through. I think Arsenal also,
Mm.
if they keep that squad fit for the better part of the season, they will get through, which then puts Chelsea and Liverpool in a shootout for that fourth spot. You never know what's going to happen because Chelsea again without that striker they look quite rudderless. Aubameyang seems to be almost done. They see they're a final. They're still stuck on the same issues, but I think that should be resolved quickly. Hasn't helped that Aubameyang has just been burgled as well. Not
Yeah,
yeah,
not a
it's
great
a
thing.
that's happened.
Yeah,
scary
it's a scary,
situation to be in.
horrible
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, I would never wish that upon my worst enemy,
Anyone.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and then on the other end, you have Pogba, who is embroiled in this
Own
weird
brother,
situation. Yeah, with his
Yeah,
own
by his own
brother,
brother.
Matthias.
Yeah.
who is blackmailing part of an organization that's blackmailing him for protection. Bizarre world we
Too
live
much
in.
going on. Yeah, too much. Too much.
And I feel really bad for Pogba. I really feel like the company he keeps, like childhood friends, are all part of that organization, is what we've been told, right? The
Hmm.
company he keeps has dictated where his career has gone, right from his agent, right to the people in his ear who go talk to, like even Mathis for that matter. Mathis was doing interviews with El Chiringuito in the summer, saying Pogba wanted to leave, and doing interviews with random um, channels just to get his name out there. Like it seems to be surrounded by a bunch of opportunistic individuals who don't really care much for him, and like it's saddening to see what's happening to such a promising career. Maybe at Juventus things will work out. Maybe he'll get through all of this, but it's you never know what's going to happen.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, let's quickly switch on to the previews. Does anyone have any points to make about Chelsea before we switch back?
Yeah, as you said, I think Chelsea up and down season again. But one thing with Chelsea, I think the manager's going to get them through. Top managers always somehow get over the line. That's the only thing I can say about Chelsea. And Sterling, I mean, he's doing well. He's
Yeah.
he's going to. I think
Yeah, we
he's going to be the
almost
same
got
guy.
down last week. Yeah.
Yeah. He almost got a hat trick, I think, right? He hit the post
Yeah.
that one chance he had after the first
Mhm.
two goals. But I think
I-
Tuchel is going to somehow get the job done.
Yep.
in other
Hope
in
I'm
breaking
wrong.
news, in other breaking news, Anthony has just landed in England. He's set to undergo his medicals today. I think we should see him unveiled either tonight, or tomorrow as a United player, officially as a United player.
Mhm.
Luckily, he's not
So
going to the US like Fofana. Easy medical in the UK.
yeah,
He's not gone all the way to
yeah.
the USA.
Yeah, that was very strange. Like to fly him from Leicester to where where the Dodgers are in Los Angeles, right?
I
So
think so, yeah.
yeah, LA Dodgers, right? So to
Yeah.
have him go fly there and fly back, oh poor Wesley Fofana, his brain is going to be scrambled. All right.
Hopefully, he doesn't start midweek then.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to start midweek. I think
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
don't
him
think
on the
he's
weekend. But he's a great FPL asset to have at 4.4. Just saying.
He's only 4.4.
He's 4.4. Yes.
Post Christmas.
Post Christmas, yeah. Wesley Fofana is going to be a strong option.
Yeah.
Akshay, could you bring us up to the previews, please?
Alrighty, let's do this. Can you all see it?
We can, my good friend.
Yeah.
So last week we had this is last week's predictions. We had Cosmo who was in the chat. Who ended up winning?
Cosmo by 1 point.
Oh, he did. Damn it!
Yeah, he got two correct predictions. He got the Villa game,
so
bad.
Villa West Ham, and the Chelsea Leicester. Correct.
No, I'm just about. Okay, let's quickly switch on to Game Week 5 and get the preview out of the way. Now we kick off with an exciting fixture. I think Palace Brentford, a London derby, has much to offer. Palace in the suburbs of Croydon, and Brentford. I'm not quite sure where they are, where Brentford is actually. So
They have an
Brentford is also London.
yeah, but I'm not quite sure. Like I know Palace is in
Oh,
Croydon, but I'm not quite sure where Brentford is.
Brentford.
I
I'm
you
not
know
too
like
sure. I don't want to take a
it was
chance
such
with the
a
geography.
such
I don't want to take a
Yeah,
chance
they're
with the
London.
geography.
like even
There's
I
somewhere
this
in
was
London.
I'm not like some expert in London. But literally, I visited London twice over the last year, and the first time I got there, I saw a bus that said Crystal Palace. You know, you have those weird, surreal experiences because for you, like you viewed Premier League clubs as this unattainable kind of place that you that you only see on television. So to see a bus that's going to Crystal Palace was kind of weird for me. But okay, my blabbering aside, what do we have as predictions for this week?
I think Palace win this 2-1. Quite be a tough game, but they'll come up ahead.
Okay, a 2-1 win to Palace. I am predicting a high scoring game. I'm going a 3-2 to Palace.
3-1 Palace.
3-1. We've all gone for Palace wins. So it'll be really funny when Brentford come and upset the apple cart.
Yeah, but only because Palace are at home, and I don't know. I'm not sure about Brentford's away form.
Yeah, neither am I. So I think yeah,
Yeah.
safe bet, Vishnu.
That's a good
Fulham
bet.
Brighton. Yeah, and another exciting game. Um, what do you expect? I think Brighton might just nick this, but I think they nick it 2-1.
I'm going Fulham 2-1. I think Marcos Silva.
Oh,
I'm going for Marcos Silva.
I think they're going to be what do you call
I'm gonna
stoked
go 1-1.
after their result over the weekend. A
I'm gonna
1-1.
go 1-1.
I think though there were a couple of positives against Arsenal for Fulham, so I think I'm going Fulham. I think they might get some momentum going again.
Southampton Chelsea. Oof, what Chelsea will turn up. Usually, Chelsea tend to slap Southampton quite a bit, but I think
They
Southampton
won
this time
6-0 last time, no? At
7-0. I think they won. The
6. I
last
just put it up. Yeah.
oh 6 is it okay? So I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that scoreline. I think this is again a 2-2 draw. Every time I see Southampton play somebody, my brain's automatic go-to is a 2-2 draw.
Um, I think Southampton will score, but they won't win. So I'm going to
Oh,
go with 2-1.
I go for a 2-1 Chelsea win. What do you have,
Um,
Vishnu?
you went for a 2-2, right?
Yeah.
Abin, you went for 2-2 draw, right?
Yeah, I go for a 2-2. Yes, yeah.
I don't know actually. I wanted to go for the 2-2, but now I'm not sure. I think I'll go for a 1-1. Chelsea missing a few midfielders, no control,
Got it. Yeah.
away from home as well.
Oof.
Everton leads.
Everton Leeds. I think Leeds win this comfortably 3-0.
Oh, we're enthusiastic about the score. I think it'll be a 2-0 lead.
Going 2-0. I think Leeds are going to walk over Everton in this game.
Uh, I go 2-1 Leeds.
They didn't Everton sign they signed Neil Maupay, didn't they?
I
Yeah.
don't think it's confirmed yet, is it? Is it confirmed?
Confirm, no?
I think I think
Okay.
he's confirmed to go there. Very bizarre signing. He's
Yeah.
not the prolific striker that you need.
He was
Yeah.
undergoing his medical and stuff two,
Yeah.
3 days ago. Yeah.
Bournemouth Wolves. Will Bournemouth get more points? I don't think so. I think Wolves will beat them comfortably, and I think they beat them 2-0.
think 3-0 Wolves.
I'm going for a 1-0 Wolves. Wolves are struggling to
Yeah,
score.
yeah, they're not
Yeah,
the best, the most prolific
Yeah.
scorers.
And Bournemouth are at home, so I always
Favor the home
expect the
team.
home side to. I mean, I expect them to give them a fight. So I think I don't know, 1-0. Yeah, 1-0 Fulham. Oh, Fulham. Sorry.
Arsenal Villa. Is anyone predicting anything different? I think this is the game that inches Gerrard closer to the sack. I think Villa don't score in this game. I think Arsenal comfortably run out 3-0 winners in this game.
Vishnu, what do you?
4-0.
Oh,
Lay down that marker before Old Trafford. Lay down that marker before Old Trafford.
the thing
I
with Old
think
Trafford is always it really depends on what the gods want.
It depends on who the ref is and who's sitting in VAR also.
By gods, I meant Sir Alex Ferguson. So anyway,
And that's what I'm saying. That's what they're paying him 3 million a year for.
yeah, he's just gone back. He's like appointed all the refs.
I
That's
think
why
Villa
Mike
is
Dean
going
is
to
still
score.
around.
Uh,
He's in the VAR room still. He's not retired.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's there in the bar room. Yeah, you can overturn that now. All right, everyone's favorite captaincy choice this week. If you're an FPL
If you have
manager,
him,
yeah.
and if you
Akshay
don't
still
bring him,
doesn't have Haaland.
I'm gonna bring him this week for sure.
Yeah, you need to that hat trick was finally like lit that fire under you, didn't it?
Yeah,
I'm going. I think City are going to demolish these dudes 4-0.
They're going to do what Liverpool did to Bournemouth? Or not that far?
No, not that
no,
far.
that's a bit too
I think
much.
Forest have a little more character than Bournemouth.
I'm going 3-1 City.
3-1 to City. Oh, so you're saying that
Liverpool
that Forest will score 1.
Yeah.
I'll go 2-0 City.
Or 2-0. You know Pep is going to rotate, right? It'll be hilarious if we all captain Haaland and he doesn't show up because Pep has rotated him.
Yeah, he might. You never know actually.
Yeah, you never know. West Ham Spurs, another London derby. Just the season for London derbies. West Ham Spurs, I expect Spurs to win this, but just about 2-1.
I think 1-0 Spurs.
I'm going to go 2-2. Hoping,
Yes.
praying.
All right, Liverpool, Newcastle.
Liverpool, Newcastle. Oh, this is going to be a tricky game. I expect to see Alexander Isak start this game. I think Newcastle will give them a fair bit more trouble than Bournemouth did. Did either of you see St. Maximin's goal
Oh, it was
against Wolves?
insane. It was insane.
No, his goal
Did he
was
score?
just...
He assist?
Yeah, he
He
scored.
scored.
No, scored.
He
Yeah.
scored. Oh,
Catches
beautiful.
it on the half volley and bam, bottom corner.
Oh, I haven't got that. I'm going to watch that.
He
Yeah.
definitely needs a call up to the national team.
I think he's too chaotic for Didier Deschamps to select him. Is my opinion.
True.
He's
But
not.
at least be on the squad, if not play,
he's
but
not
at least be on the squad.
disciplined enough.
In terms of players, I
Every
think it's Saint Maximan and Adama are very close. You can't pick one another. Both have no end product, but they do everything just before they
I
enter
have
the
been
final
playing.
third.
For like in my spare time, I've been playing career mode on FIFA, and I have Adama in my team. And the number of times that man has broken through on goal and skied the ball for and completely mishit the shot that has filtered out for throw-ins, I have lost count. It's just a horrible finisher. See, I think Saint Maximan has more end product than Adama does, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he's
But-
showing at least this season. He's showing more improvement, and you know,
It's like there's a little more structure to his play as opposed to like previous seasons where he just
yeah.
take the ball, beat some 10 players, run to the edge of the box and lose it.
It'll be
Uh,
interesting
I
if the new signing plays. We haven't talked about
Isaac, right?
Newcastle's new signing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he plays,
Yeah,
it's going to be.
I don't see that happening.
He might, but I think this game ends in a draw. I think even though Liverpool are buoyant after their hammering of Bournemouth, I think Newcastle are a much sterner test. And if they show up and if they score early, Liverpool are in trouble. So I'm thinking a 2-2.
2-2. I think Liverpool are going to win it, but just by one goal margin. 2-2.
Liverpool 2-1.
Uh, oh, Arthur in the chat has had a horrible betting situation. He had Kane first and
Oh
last
shit!
goal, and then he had a Kane hat trick at 18-1. Oh goodness!
My
Oh,
gosh.
that's
Yeah.
got to hurt. That's got to hurt, Arthur. I'm so sorry. Uh, oh, Vishnu seems to have dropped out.
Yeah. But let's
Um,
just wrap it up.
let's wrap this up. It's our favorite clowns. Um, Leicester
I
versus
see them. I see
United.
them winning this.
I think
Winning this
so too.
2-0.
I think they still let Leicester score one because it's at home. I see them winning this 3-1. The first time we see United score 3 goals under Eric Ten Hag.
I don't know if I should change my prediction because these clowns, but with Lisandro Martinez, I'm a bit more hopeful that they'll keep the clean sheet.
I don't think they'll keep it clean, but I think they still come out winners. I think Leicester just look toothless and extremely devoid of any ideas.
Yeah.
Vishnu is just about back. My good friend, do you
Are you
have
back?
any? I think he's there just about. But who
He's
do you
there.
have as? Who do you have scoring for us in this game?
Bruno, and maybe Rashford.
This game's on Thursday, right? So tomorrow's the 30th, and then 31st is Wednesday. So
Yeah,
first,
it's a Wednesday night.
no, it's a Thursday night game.
Oh, Thursday night. Oh,
Yeah, Thursday
it's
night.
Thursday night.
Last game week of the season. Last game of the game week. Sorry, I think. Vishnu, who do you have for the Leicester United game, my friend?
I don't. Somebody. What have you guys gone for? I can't seem to zoom in.
Oh, sorry. I've gone for the 3-1 win to United, and Akshay's gone for a 2-0 win.
Both United.
Yeah, both
Yep.
United.
Yeah, I think 2-1 United. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, 2-1. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, a 2-1 United I think, is the most sensible prediction that one could possibly make. I may have been a little carried away thinking, oh, we scored 3 goals. I think we can score in a week. Who says we can't score 3 goals in a single match? Watch this prediction come back to bite me so deliciously in the ass. It's going to be.
Yeah, it probably will. Knowing you.
Knowing me and literally
Love.
you know.
Knowing you and your love, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's that for us. If there's anything else that we should cover, we will probably cover on the episode for the game week 6 preview, and I think we'll end up doing that on a Friday, or it might just be one or two of us who are in for that episode, given how quickly we're trying to turn this around.
Yeah.
But yes, that's us. I forgot to do the housekeeping bit. So if you're listening to this either on Spotify or you're listening to this on YouTube much later, we do this show live on a Monday, and then this episode becomes a podcast which lives on Spotify, Google, Apple platforms within the hour or so. So if you'd like to engage in conversation, today has been conversation slightly less, but if you'd like to engage in conversation, You can join us on the live that we do every Monday. Follow us on Instagram. There are links in the description below. And we'll let you know as and when we're going live. And if you'd like to join us purely via the podcast, you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, all the good places where one can stream a podcast. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do like and subscribe. It really helps us grow. And once again, to my panelists, thank you for coming. Vishnu, always a pleasure.
Cheers.
Yeah,
I think you said
always good to
you're
have
off
you.
to London.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're off to London soon, right?
Yeah, we'll manage it. We'll manage it.
We'll
somehow.
figure it out. We'll have you from
Yeah.
outside the ground.
You'll have you know how those Premier
We
League
can do
guys
we can
do
go
it
live
outside.
on our
Yeah. It's like Vishnu Fan TV report. All right.
VFTV.
Yeah, VFTV
Yeah.
indeed. All right. I think that's us. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Cool. See you guys. Take care.
See
Good
ya.
night.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.